Assalamu alaikum students. So we discussed different types of exchange rate regimes in our last lecture, and since I told you that we will be going to cover the dollarization concepts in this lecture, but let's review the previous lecture first. We discussed different types of exchange rate systems because when you are doing an international business, so there is a possibility that when you are doing some type of transaction, whether it is trade, whether you are doing some international financial transaction, exchange rate must be applied over there. So you must be very much clear, being a student of international finance, that what is the importance of exchange rate systems. So there are different types or different categories of exchange rate systems. First of all, we discussed the fixed exchange rate system. In fixed exchange rate system, what happens is that the exchange rate or the price of one currency is fixed against the other currency, and government intervention is allowed in that for a narrow boundary to maintain that exchange rate in that boundary. For example, in terms of Bretton Woods system, we have discussed it so many times that they defined the boundaries in terms of 1% bracket कि 1% से ऊपर या 1% से नीचे decline ना करे exchange rate की value. So that is called your fixed exchange rate system. Second one we have discussed is freely floating exchange rate system, which is completely opposite to your fixed exchange rate system. Freely floating exchange rate system में complete flexibility available होती है because exchange rates are determined on the basis of demand and supply forces available in the market. However, if you compare fixed exchange rate with floating exchange rate system, freely floating exchange rate system, so they are quite different because एक तो ये कि fixed exchange rate में आपके पास flexibility नहीं है, floating freely floating exchange rate में आपके पास complete flexibility है. Fixed exchange rate में government intervention involved है to maintain a minor or a very narrow bracket, which is sometimes 1% or it can be less than that. However, in freely floating market, exchange rate market, it is not the case over there. Government intervention will not be available in freely floating system because the governments cannot intervene, since in freely floating in exchange rate system, the prices or the exchange rates are completely determined on the flexible grounds of demand and supply forces. Third one we have discussed are managed floating exchange rate system, which is kind of a blend of freely floating system and fixed exchange rate system. So आपका basically fixed exchange rate का जो factor है, that is that the government can intervene. So that is similar with the managed float, that in case of managed floating exchange rate system, governments can intervene. And the other factor which is from freely floating exchange rate system, that the currencies can float, is also available in this factor, in this exchange rate. Managed float फिर क्या आ जाता है कि एक चीज तो ये कि इसमें currencies freely float करेंगी, but the government intervention will also be available in this exchange rate system. And why government is supposed to be there? Because the governments want to maintain the boundaries and they don't want to let the exchange rate go or touch the extreme rates. So in case of managed float, currencies will move on the free basis of demand and supply forces, but government should have a monitoring criteria over there, that government will not let the currencies to go beyond the extreme boundaries. Then we discussed the pegged exchange rate system, in which one currency is pegged against the other currency. So the one currency is tied against the other currency, and now this currency which is tied against the other one will move according to the one to which it is tied. So मतलब पाकिस्तानी रुपी और डॉलर की हमने बार बार बात की कि अगर पाकिस्तानी रुपी को टाई कर दें डॉलर के साथ, तो पाक रुपी उसी तरह मूव करेगा जिस तरह डॉलर मूव करेगा अगेंस्ट एनी इकोनॉमिक फैक्टर या अगेंस्ट एनी अदर करेंसी मूवमेंट. सो पेगिंग बेसिकली क्या है कि आप अपनी करेंसी को किसी दूसरी करेंसी के साथ पैक कर देते हैं, टाई कर देते हैं एट अ प्राइस, और फिर आपकी करेंसी भी उसी तरह रिस्पॉन्ड करती है जिस तरह दूसरी करेंसी रिस्पॉन्ड करती है. Currency boards is very much important in terms of pegging system, pegging exchange rate system, because currency boards are implemented and then they are basically there to define the pegging criteria and to define the pegging rates. These are very much important from investors' point of view, because if investors would know that the currency boards will exist in certain market, so what will happen? It will boost the investors' confidence, because currency boards are there to basically protect the currencies and to basically maintain a standard. If currency boards are available and they are helping in stabilization of the currency rates, what will happen? Investors' confidence will be boosted, because then they would know that this currency would not decline in its value. And we have discussed the example of Argentina also, where we said that currency boards were over there and investors' confidence was shaken. Why? Because when they saw that the value of Argentinian currency is declining, or currency boards were not working to that extent where they had to, so that means currency boards were finished over there. So we considered the example of Argentinian economy, where currency boards were over there and they were working, but then after having the currency boards also, the Argentinian currency was declining in its value, due to which the investors took out their money from Argentinian economy and invested it in other countries. What happened? Because of that factor, that investors' confidence was not to that extent and people were taking out their money from Argentinian economy, the value of Argentinian currency was declined, and the government made the policy that they have to devalue their currency against dollar. So there are some factors when usually you have different types of exchange rate regimes in your economy, so they have a different impact. It depends in which economy you are, so it depends what type of exchange rate system is in existence over there. But usually managed floating rate system is the one which is implemented in most of the economies, because it has the benefit that government can intervene and government can have a focus on the exchange rates, that it shouldn't touch the extreme points, and it has the benefit that it lets the currencies to move according to the demand and supply forces of the market. So in most of the economies, managed floating exchange rate regime is in existence. Now let's move on to the next concept, which we discussed, that what type of government influence on exchange rate can have, and it has another concept which is called dollarization. So let's see what is different in dollarization as compared to the pegged exchange rate system. Dollarization refers to the replacement of a foreign currency with US dollar. So now the focus is on the word replacement. Dollarization is something that replaces the foreign currency with US dollar. So in this case we are not saying कि peg कर दिया आपने अपने currency किसी दूसरी currency के साथ, we are saying replace कर दी है. Dollarization goes beyond a currency board as the country no longer has its local currency. क्योंकि उस country ने अपनी currency को replace कर दिया against dollar, so it means now the country doesn't have its own currency while they are using dollars as their own currency. For example, Ecuador implemented dollarization in 2000. Although dollarization and a currency board both attempt to peg the local currency's value, the currency board does not replace the local currency with dollars. So that's what I said, that what will be the difference between pegging and dollarization. When you are discussing the pegging exchange rate system or pegging criteria, in pegging exchange rate, the currency is tied against any other currency with the currency boards, but the currency does not replace its value. Like currency boards किसी दूसरी currency के साथ आपकी currency को peg कर देंगे according to which your currency will move. But in case of dollarization, that is quite different. Pegging तो होगी लेकिन आपकी currency पूरी की पूरी replace हो जाएगी in terms of dollars. The decision to use US dollars as the local currency cannot be easily reversed because the country no longer has a local currency. So जो आपके डॉलराइजेशन की जो स्ट्रैटेजी है या डॉलराइजेशन अगर एक दफा आपने इम्प्लीमेंट कर दिया in your country, so it cannot be reversed quite easily. Why? Because in case of dollarization आप अपनी करेंसी completely eliminate करके डॉलर्स इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, डॉलर्स को अपनी करेंसी बना रहे हैं. In that case, what will be the result? That you won't be able to reverse it quite easily, क्योंकि अब आपके पास अपनी कोई करेंसी है ही नहीं. For example, in 1990 to 2000, Ecuador currency depreciated by 97% against the US dollar. So Ecuador की जो currency थी, that was declined in its value by 97% against US dollar. So what was the result? When it was declined in its value against dollar with a drastic decline which was 97%, the weakness of the currency caused unstable trade conditions, high inflation and volatile interest rates. So क्योंकि हमें पता है कि जब आपके exchange rates जो हैं वो already linked है इन तमाम factors के साथ, so जब आपकी currency इतनी decline कर जाए against dollar, so the weakness of the currency caused the other factors also. That included trade conditions. Obviously अगर आपकी करेंसी इस हद तक डिक्लाइन कर रही है, डीवैल्यू हो रही है, सो इन्वेस्टर व्हाई वुड बी दे इंटरेस्टेड टू कम टू योर कंट्री एंड इन्वेस्ट? सो दैट हैड एन इम्पैक्ट ओवर द ट्रेड कंडीशंस. देन इन्फ्लेशन इंक्रीज हो गई ऑब्वियसली. एंड फाइनली वॉलेटाइल इंटरेस्ट रेट, क्योंकि इतनी ज्यादा करेंसी डीवैल्यू होने की वजह से इंटरेस्ट रेट में वॉलेटिलिटी थी, बहुत ज्यादा चेंजेस, अब्रप्ट चेंजेस आ रहे थे. सो व्हेन द करेंसी was declining in its value, so it was not only the currency which was in focus, it was also different conditions, different economic factors which were attached to that country, that was Ecuador. In the year 2000, in an effort to stabilize trade and economic conditions, Ecuador replaced its currency which was sucker with the US dollar and its currency. So in an effort to stabilize their economy, क्योंकि आपकी इकोनॉमिक कंडीशंस भी बहुत ज़्यादा आ रहे थे, आपकी करेंसी बहुत ज़्यादा वीक हो गई थी, उसकी वैल्यू अगेंस्ट डॉलर 97% डिक्लाइन कर चुकी थी. सो व्हाट वाज द ऑप्शन? द कंट्री डिसाइडेड टू रिप्लेस इट्स करेंसी विद डॉलर एंड डॉलराइजेशन वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन ईयर 2000. बाय नवंबर 2000, inflation had declined after the introduction of dollarization and economic growth had increased. So thus it appeared that dollarization had favorable effect in Ecuador. So basically it is an example that from 1990 to 2000 Ecuador की जो currency थी that was declined a lot to 97% against dollar. Due to that decline in its value, the economic conditions were, since they are also attached with exchange rates, so economic conditions were also worsening. That included the high rates of inflation, the different trade conditions, plus volatile interest rates. So due to all these factors, Ecuador country decided to basically replace their own currency with dollars, and they introduced dollarization in early year 2000. By November 2000, due to this policy or due to this replacement, what happened was that their inflation rate was declined and the growth, economic growth rate were increasing. So that proved that dollarization had a greater, a positive impact over the economy of Ecuador. So these are the countries which are basically moving with the floating exchange rate systems. And in the bottom, we have few countries, 6 countries, which have pegged exchange rate system. So floating exchange rate system में आप देख सकते हैं कि काफ़ी ज़्यादा countries हैं जो floating exchange rate system को prefer करते हैं, but again I would say कि ये तमाम countries completely demand और supply forces के ऊपर नहीं leave करते अपने exchange rates को, but they go for the managed float because they know that government intervention is required to avoid the extreme boundaries. So जो आपके floating exchange rate system है इसमें काफ़ी ज़्यादा countries हैं, but again government intervention to some extent is possible in these cases. Pegged exchange rate system में जहाँ बहामास ने, बर्मुदा ने, हांगकांग ने, सऊदी अरेबिया ने, चाइना ने, बारबाडोस ने, इन तमाम countries ने they have pegged their currencies to US dollars. So now this is a practical example that you should know when you are reading a newspaper, when you are reading the articles, or if you are going in your practical life. So you should know when someone say floating exchange rate system, so you should know these are the countries who have floating exchange rate systems in their economies. While if someone asks you, okay, do you know or do you have any idea कि pegged exchange rate system किन countries में implemented है या वो कौन से countries हैं जिन्होंने अपनी currency को dollars के against peg किया हुआ है, so you should have these names in your mind that include the Bahamas, Barbados, China, Hong Kong, Saudi Arabia. They involve the pegging exchange rate system. Now till now you have gone through different types of pegged exchange rate system, floating, fixed, managed float, and all these criteria. Dollarization, which was another concept, that there are few countries who are accepting dollarization just because their own currencies are devalued to a greater extent. Now let's see a single European currency, which is euro, and we have discussed it earlier that euro was introduced basically to promote international trade and to avoid exchange rate fluctuations. In 1991, Maastricht Treaty called for a single European currency, the euro. So in 1991, single European currency was basically called for, the treaty was called for that purpose. By June 2002, the national currencies of 12 European countries had been withdrawn and replaced with the euro. So जो आपका single European Act था या single European currency का act था, इस ट्रीटी के अगेंस्ट आपके जो जितने यूरोपियन कंट्रीज जो विलिंग थे अपनी करेंसी को यूरो के साथ रिप्लेस करने के लिए, बाय जून 2002 दे हैड रिप्लेस्ड देयर करेंसीज विद euro, and those countries involved Austria, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. So these are the 12 countries in June 2002 who adopted euros as their own currency, and they left their own currencies for their own country. So from that on, they are using their euro as their home currency. Since then, more European countries have adopted or are planning to adopt the euro. So till then, it was so many countries, 12 countries had already been adopted that euro, but then the other countries also thought that they have to join in Eurozone. The Frankfurt-based European Central Bank is responsible for setting European monetary policy, which is now consolidated because of the single money supply. जब हम बात करते हैं monetary supply की, so you should be very much clear that there are two different types of policies. One is called your monetary policy and the other one is called your fiscal policy. When you talk about your monetary policy, so it is linked with the money supply. And when you consider money supply, that is very much linked to the interest rates. It depends कि आपकी इकोनॉमी में या आपके फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम में इंटरेस्ट रेट किस तरह से ऑफर हो रहे हैं, so that money supply can be controlled. And how does it work? Say for example, अगर फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम को या किसी इकोनॉमी को ज़्यादा फाइनेंसेस की ज़रूरत है या ज़्यादा डिपॉजिट्स की ज़रूरत है, what they can do is that they can increase the interest rate on bank deposits. What will happen? That people would be more willing to save their money because then they know कि अब इंटरेस्ट रेट ज़्यादा ऑफर हो रहे हैं और सेविंग्स ज़्यादा होंगी. सो सेविंग्स को मोबिलाइज किया जा सकता है इन अ वे, बिकॉज इफ योर फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम वुड ऑफर मोर higher interest rates, so people would be more tempted towards savings. In that case, if government wants more and more money from the public through the savings, so they can basically instruct the central banks, or central bank have the policy to get those amounts from the people by offering high interest rates. When we discuss monetary policy and fiscal policy, so monetary policy is completely linked with central bank, because the main authority is central bank, who basically target the inflation, plus who basically controls the money supply, and they decide on it that how much money supply is required, कि आपको ज़्यादा expand करना है money, ज़्यादा economy में से आपने inflow लेना है या outflow करना है money का. That is called your money supply, and that is called your monetary policy. कि आपकी monetary policy क्या है. So it should be in your mind कि जब आप monetary policy की बात करते हैं, so it is very much linked with money supply and then with interest rates. Similarly, another policy which is called fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is not linked with your money supply, but it is linked with the government revenues and government expenditures. कि गवर्नमेंट कितना अर्न करती है और गवर्नमेंट किस तरह से स्पेंड करती है. दैट इज कॉल्ड योर फिस्कल पॉलिसी. नाउ फिस्कल पॉलिसी इज लिंक्ड विद गवर्नमेंट रेवेन्यूज. तो रेवेन्यूज गवर्नमेंट कैसे जनरेट करती है? फर्स्ट, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर इज टैक्सेस. that government has to collect taxes in an efficient manner so that government can earn their revenues. And when you discuss the consumption factor of the government or the expenditure of the government, so it depends where does the government spend. So that is called your fiscal policy. So मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी क्या है? जो कि इकोनॉमी में मनी सप्लाई को कंट्रोल करती है, इंटरेस्ट रेट को फोकस करती है, इन्फ्लेशन को फोकस करती है. ऑन दी अदर हैंड फिस्कल पॉलिसी ये है कि जब गवर्नमेंट की स्पेंडिंग्स कितनी हैं और गवर्नमेंट के रेवेन्यूज कितने हैं, उनकी जनरेशंस किस तरह से करनी है, रेवेन्यूज जनरेट किस तरह से करने हैं और गवर्नमेंट को स्पेंड किस तरह से करना है. दैट इज फिस्कल पॉलिसी. So if you are clear with monetary policy and with your fiscal policy, now let's move on to the fact which is linked with single European currency. The Frankfurt-based European Central Bank is responsible for setting European monetary policy, which is now consolidated because of the single money supply. तो जब हम बात कर रहे थे मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी की कि किसी इकोनॉमी में मनी सप्लाई किस तरह से होनी है, सेंट्रल बैंक रिस्पॉन्सिबल है इस चीज के लिए. अब जब हम बात करते हैं यूरोपियन इकोनॉमीज की, तो तमाम वो कंट्रीज जिन्होंने यूरो को अपनी सिंगल करेंसी अडॉप्ट कर लिया है और उनकी कंट्री में और कोई करेंसी यूज नहीं हो रही, सिर्फ यूरो यूज हो रहा है. सो दैट मीन्स नाउ जो आपका यूरोपियन सेंट्रल बैंक है, जो कि यूरोप के तमाम कंट्रीज का सेंट्रल बैंक है, that can have a single monetary policy for all those countries who have adopted euro as their currency. Each participating country can still rely on their own fiscal policy, that is tax and government expenditure decision, to help solve its local economic problems. So जब आप सिंगल यूरोपियन करेंसी की बात करते हैं तो मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी तो तमाम यूरोपियन कंट्रीज की सेम होगी, बिकॉज तमाम कंट्रीज की मनी सप्लाई जो है वो यूरोज की फॉर्म में है. सो सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ यूरोप कैन डिफाइन द मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी फॉर ऑल द यूरोपियन कंट्रीज हु आर पार्ट ऑफ यूरोप, euro as their basic currency. However, when you consider the fiscal policy, so fiscal policy is linked with the government efficiency to generate their revenues and the expenses, whatever expenses government is doing it. जब आप गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर की बात करती हैं तो इट्स नॉट समथिंग विच इज यूज्ड फॉर इटसेल्फ. जो गवर्नमेंट के इंडिविजुअल्स के बेनिफिट्स के लिए जो एक्सपेंडिचर होता है, इट्स नॉट दैट एक्सपेंडिचर. गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर इज समथिंग, से फॉर एग्जांपल गवर्नमेंट वेलफेयर के ऊपर कितना इन्वेस्ट कर रही है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर कितना इन्वेस्ट कर रही है, गवर्नमेंट एजुकेशन पे कितना इन्वेस्ट कर रही है, या फिर गवर्नमेंट हेल्थ सेक्टर में कितना इन्वेस्ट कर रही है. दिस इज कॉल्ड गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर. तो फिस्कल पॉलिसी इज बेसिकली व्हेन यू आर जनरेटिंग योर रेवेन्यूज थ्रू टैक्सेस. सो वो तो अगर आप तमाम के तमाम यूरोपियन कंट्रीज का सेम कर देंगे, सो एवरी कंट्री इज डिफरेंट इन नेचर फ्रॉम द अदर कंट्री, वेदर दे आर यूजिंग यूरो और नॉट. सो जहां पर 12 कंट्रीज जिन्होंने फॉर एग्जांपल यूरो अडॉप्ट किया है, उन 12 के 12 कंट्रीज का भी सिनेरियो इज क्वाइट डिफरेंट इन टर्म्स ऑफ फिस्कल पॉलिसी, बिकॉज इट डिपेंड्स ऑन ईच एंड एवरी गवर्नमेंट कि वो किस तरह से रेवेन्यू जनरेट करते हैं और किस तरह से उनकी क्या पॉलिसीज हैं फॉर देयर एक्सपेंडिचर. So when we are talking about the single European currency, monetary policy, okay fine, it makes sense के क्योंकि central bank एक है यूरोप का, तो वो central bank monetary policy, money supply से related, interest rate से related, same standardized monetary policy दे सकता है कि this would be the money supply and this would be the interest rate, this would be the percentage can also be defined through the central bank of the Europe. However, when we are talking about the fiscal policy of all those European countries, so it's quite different because हर country की हर government का tax collection might be different, plus उन सब के revenues might be different according to their own policies. किसी एक country में may be ज़्यादा focus education पे हो, other country में may be ज़्यादा focus health sector पे हो because they are lacking on that sector. Third country may require more on their infrastructure. So it depends. Fiscal policy should be different for each and every country according to their own economic conditions, but monetary policy in terms of European countries will be defined by the European Central Bank. Within the Eurozone, there is neither exchange rate risk nor foreign exchange transaction costs. So जब हम बात करते हैं यूरोजोन की, so एक तो उसमें ये है कि क्योंकि तमाम के तमाम countries they are using exchange rate, they are using the same currency, so obviously there is no risk of exchange rate involved in it. Because अगर आपने इटली से दूसरे किसी भी यूरोपियन कंट्री जहाँ पे ऑलरेडी यूरो ही अडॉप्ट हुआ है वहाँ बिजनेस करना है, तो दोनों यूरो में ट्रांजैक्शंस हो रही हैं, फ्लक्चुएशन का चांस ही नहीं है. सेकेंडली, ट्रांजैक्शन कॉस्ट्स भी नहीं अप्लाई होती इन तमाम यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में. दिस मीन्स मोर कंपेरेबल प्रोडक्ट प्राइसिंग एंड इट इनकरेजेस मोर क्रॉस बॉर्डर ट्रेड एंड कैपिटल फ्लोज. सो जब आप बात करते हैं सिंगल यूरोपियन इकोनॉमी की या सिंगल यूरोपियन करेंसी की जो कि अडॉप्ट हुई हुई है डिफरेंट कंट्रीज में, सो इट विल बेसिकली improve the trade and it will also improve on product pricing क्योंकि comparable हो जाएंगे products की prices. एक कंट्री में इतने यूरोस है, दूसरी कंट्री में इतने यूरोस है, तीसरे कंट्री में इतने यूरोस प्राइस है, सो ऑब्वियसली यू कैन वेरी इजीली कंपेयर द प्राइसेस. अगर ये ना हो सो ऑब्वियसली आपको तीन कंट्रीज में प्राइसेस चेक करने के लिए उनके एक्सचेंज रेट को फोकस करके देन यू कैन डिफाइन कि इसकी डॉलर्स में फॉर एग्जांपल प्राइस क्या बन रही है. दैट कैन बी वन ऑप्शन कि अगर आपने सेम प्रोडक्ट को तीन डिफरेंट कंट्रीज में कंपेयर करना है, सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू हैव टू कंपेयर देम ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ एक्सचेंज रेट्स कि उन तमाम की तमाम प्राइसेस को डॉलर्स में कन्वर्ट करें एंड देन यू कैन कंपेयर कि इन तीनों प्रोडक्ट्स की प्राइसेस तीन कंट्रीज में क्या हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ डॉलर, देन यू वुड बी एबल टू कंपेयर देम. While in case of European countries where they are already using euro as their single currency, it's quite easy for them when they want to compare the prices in one country to the other. It will also be easier to conduct and compare valuations of firms across the participating European countries. The interest rates are offered on government securities will have to be similar across the participating European countries. So we have already discussed it in our previous lectures that they should be following the same policy. All the banks in Europe must be following the same policy, those who are in Eurozone. So they will have the same interest rate which is across all the participating European countries. Stock and bond prices will also be more comparable and there should be more cross-border investments. जहां आपने ट्रेड की बात की, जब भी हम ट्रेड की बात करते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल जिस तरह हमने बात की कि प्राइसेस आप बड़े इजीली कंपेयर कर सकते हैं इन वन कंट्री टू द अदर, सो दैट व्हाट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इन टर्म्स ऑफ इंपोर्ट्स एंड एक्सपोर्ट्स. So since we talk about the merchandising trade, when we are considering कि जी different product की different prices same होंगी in different economies and comparable होंगी in different economies, so same goes with the bond and stock prices, that if they are defined or if they are mentioned in terms of euros, so you can compare the prices of bonds and stocks also across the borders in Eurozone. However, non-European investors may not achieve as much diversification as in the past. So जो non-European users हैं, investors हैं, जो कि invest करना चाहते हैं in Europe, earlier they used to get quite diversified type of investments because हर country की currency different थी, तो diversification थी. अब अगर कोई नॉन यूरोपियन इन्वेस्ट करना चाहता है, so that means they are not going to face that type of diversification while everything should be standardized. Thus, European monetary policy is consolidated because any effect on the money supply will have an impact on all European countries using euro as their form of money. तो जो आपकी monetary policy होगी जिसको consolidate किया गया है will have an impact on each and every economy because monetary policy का impact उन तमाम European countries पे आएगा those who have taken euro as their form of money. The implementation of a common monetary policy may promote more political unity among European countries with similar national defense and foreign policies. So obviously when we discuss all these criteria, so they are linked with each other. The implementation of common monetary policy is that they can promote political unity. क्योंकि जब मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी आपकी सेम हो जाएगी, सो सिंस द मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी इज डिफाइंड थ्रू द स्टेट बैंक या थ्रू द सेंट्रल बैंक, तो सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ यूरोप जब कोई चीज डिफाइन करेगा इट विल ऑल्सो हेल्प फॉर द पोलिटिकल यूनिटी बिकॉज ऑल यूरोजोन के जो कंट्रीज हैं या वो कंट्रीज जिन्होंने यूरो को अडॉप्ट किया हुआ है एज देयर सिंगल करेंसी विल बी फॉलोइंग द सेम रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन, सो पोलिटिकल यूनिटी विल बी अवेलेबल इन दोज कंट्रीज. The euro enables residents of participating countries to engage in cross-border trade flows and capital flows throughout the so-called eurozone of participating countries without converting to a different currency. So eurozone is also taking the benefit because they are using the same currency, so they don't have to go anywhere and change their currency or exchange it, but they don't have to convert it, and straight away they can follow the same currency. The elimination of currency movements among European countries also encourage long-term business arrangements between firms of different countries as they no longer have to worry about adverse effects due to currency movements. So currency movements के जो adverse effects थे वो भी eliminate हो गए हैं due to the single European currency. Thus firms in different European countries are increasingly engaging in all types of business arrangements including licensing, joint ventures and acquisitions. So basically जब आपके ट्रेड बैरियर्स इस तरह से रिड्यूस हो रहे हैं कि आपको फॉरेन एक्सचेंज फ्लक्चुएशन की टेंशन नहीं है, so obviously multinational companies are promoting their businesses in eurozone because now they know that they don't have to worry about foreign exchange fluctuations if they are dealing with each other since they are following the same currency. In that case, they are going for different types of arrangements, business arrangement, which we have already discussed in detail in our earlier lectures. कि आप licensing भी कर सकते हैं, joint ventures भी कर रहे हैं, acquisitions भी implement हो रही हैं in eurozone. So euro zone में तमाम वो objectives involved हैं या फिर European Union ने वो तमाम objectives involve किए हैं जिनके through they can promote international trade in eurozone and they are basically getting the benefit out of it because they don't have to worry about the exchange rate fluctuations, they don't have to worry too much about the trade barriers, and plus joint ventures, acquisition and licensing type of जो आपके contracts हैं, they are going well in eurozone. Now let's see what will be the impact on financial flow if you have single European currency. A single European currency forces the interest rate offered on government securities to be similar across the participating European countries. So one thing financial flows के ऊपर since we have mentioned it earlier कि एक चीज तो यह है कि तमाम वो countries जो कि यूरो को as their basic currency follow कर रहे हैं या उनकी basic money जो है वो यूरो है, they should have the same interest rate offered on government securities. Any discrepancy in rates would encourage investors within these European countries to invest in the currency with the highest rate, which would realign the interest rate among these countries. सो अगर थोड़ी सी भी डिस्क्रिपेंसी आएगी सो इन्वेस्टर उससे बेनिफिट लेने की कोशिश करेंगे. However, the rate may still vary between two government securities with the same maturity if they exhibit different levels of credit risk. So, credit risk अगर different होगा, आपकी maturity time same होगा on government securities, so obviously investors के लिए option है कि वो कौन सी security choose करते हैं. Now let's read it carefully again that the rate may still vary between two government securities. तो जो रेट ऑफ रिटर्न है ऑन टू डिफरेंट गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज, तो डिफरेंट कंट्रीज के, इट कैन बी डिफरेंट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ डिफरेंट लेवल्स ऑफ क्रेडिट रिस्क. सो देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि मेच्योरिटी टाइम दोनों गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज का सेम हो. से फॉर एग्जांपल मेच्योरिटी टाइम क्या है कि कितने अरसे के बाद मेच्योर होनी है या कितने अरसे के बाद कॉन्ट्रैक्ट खत्म होना है. So when you are comparing two different types of securities, there is a possibility maturity time is same, but since you are an investor, so you are more concerned about your rate of returns and risks attached to that. So there is a possibility that even you are considering two different types of government securities, but having the same maturity time, the rate of return can vary along with the different levels of credit risks. Stock prices are now more comparable among the European countries because they are denominated in the same currencies. जिस तरह हमने बात की प्रोडक्ट्स की, सर्विसेज की, कि आप ज्यादा कंपेयर कर सकते हैं बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज डिफाइंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ यूरोस. सो नाउ फोकस ऑन द अदर साइड विच इज द कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट क्राइटेरिया, कि अगर आपके यूरो जोन में कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट हो रही है सो व्हाट कैन बी द बेनिफिट ऑफ हैविंग द सेम करेंसी. सो इट मीन्स नाउ इवन द स्टॉक प्राइसेज आर ऑल्सो कंपेरेबल बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ देम आर ऑल्सो discussed or all of them are also denominated in the same currency. Investors in the participating European countries are now able to invest in stocks throughout these countries without the concern about the exchange rate risks. Thus, there is more cross-border investment than there was in the past. सो पहले जो ट्रांजैक्शंस बहुत कम होती थी या बहुत मीडियम लेवल पे हो रही थी बिकॉज इन्वेस्टर्स वर रिलेक्टेंट ड्यू टू द एक्सचेंज रेट फ्लक्चुएशंस, कि अगर वो सिक्योरिटीज मार्केट में अक्रॉस बॉर्डर जाके इन्वेस्ट करते हैं सो एक्सचेंज रेट फ्लक्चुएशंस बहुत ज्यादा होंगी. नाउ दे डोंट हैव टू फोकस ऑन इट बिकॉज सिंगल करेंसी यूज करने की वजह से यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में दे कैन इन्वेस्ट थ्रू आउट दोज कंट्रीज हु आर यूजिंग यूरो एज देयर बेसिक करेंसी विदाउट एनी एक्सचेंज रेट रिस्क. Now let's see what can be the impact on exchange rate risk when you are using a single European currency in the whole Eurozone. One major advantage of a single European currency is that the complete elimination of exchange rate risk between the participating European countries, which could encourage more trade and capital flows across European borders. In addition, foreign exchange transaction costs associated with transactions between European countries have been eliminated. तो जो आपके foreign exchange transaction costs थी वो भी reduce कर दी या ख़त्म कर दी. And due to your having single currency, ट्रेड एनहांसमेंट हुई है विच इज डिफाइंड इन फर्स्ट पॉइंट, कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा ट्रेड है, कैपिटल फ्लोज हैं, क्रॉस बॉर्डर ट्रांजैक्शन हो रही हैं, ट्रांजैक्शन कॉस्ट्स रिमूव कर दी हैं विच इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट टू अट्रैक्ट योर इन्वेस्टमेंट स्ट्रैटेजीज और टू अट्रैक्ट द इन्वेस्टर्स इन योर इकोनॉमी. तो यूरो जोन ने तो ऑलमोस्ट दे हैव ट्राइड देयर बेस्ट to improve their international business, that they have made a European Union. They have formed a union in which all the European countries are invited to join them. Then they introduced a single currency. After having their single currencies, they have also introduced that transaction costs are also removed for any type of transaction. So what else an investor wants? If the investor doesn't have to worry about exchange rate fluctuation, that is a favorable condition. If the investor doesn't have to worry about transaction cost, that is another benefit. So why not investor should go to Europe in those places or in those areas or countries where the euro is applied as the basic currency. So obviously investors have the benefit in those countries as compared to those countries where euro is not adopted. The single European currency is consistent with the goal of the Single European Act to remove trade barriers between European borders, since exchange rate risk is an implicit trade barrier. So basically, exchange rate जो आपका single European exchange rate policy आई, that was the basic objective was to remove trade barrier, which was the major objection or the major concern was in terms of exchange rate movements. Now, government intervention, as we have discussed in terms of exchange rate regimes, that government intervention is always there. Each country has a central bank that may intervene in the foreign exchange market to control its currency's value. जब हम बात करते हैं सेंट्रल बैंक्स की, सो हर कंट्री का अपना एक सेंट्रल बैंक है जो कि पॉलिसीज को फोकस करता है और ये पॉलिसीज गवर्नमेंट्स डिजाइन करती हैं एंड देन दे मूव ऑन विद दैट. A central bank may also attempt to control the money supply growth in this country. Central bank manages exchange rates in a way to smooth exchange rate movements, to establish implicit exchange rate boundaries, and to respond to the temporary disturbances. So, जब आपकी government intervention है through State Bank, so how it would manage exchange rates? First thing, it can smooth exchange rate movements by adopting different types of policies. Secondly, which is quite important, that central banks are responsible to establish implicit exchange rate boundaries and to respond to the temporary disturbances. Often intervention is overwhelmed by the market forces. However, currency movements may be even more volatile in the absence of the intervention. So if someone is opposing the government intervention, so they should know that, okay, fine, it is a point of conflict that government should not intervene to maintain the exchange rate. But on the other hand, if the government would not intervene, there is a possibility of having highly volatile exchange rate market in your economy. Some central banks attempt to maintain their home currency rates within some unofficial or implicit boundaries. Analysts are commonly quoted as forecasting that a currency will not fall below or rise above a particular benchmark value because the central bank would intervene to prevent that. So, analysis जो करते हैं या फिर जो forecast करते हैं for a particular currency that shouldn't fall beyond this point, shouldn't go above this point, would also know that the central bank can also prevent these types of strategies. If a central bank is concerned that economy will be affected by abrupt movements in home currency's value, it may attempt to smooth the currency movements over time. Its actions may keep business cycles less volatile, कि business cycles जो होते हैं जिसमें आपके boom और burst के या फिर recession के phases आते हैं, उसको volatile ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए, business को smoothly work करना चाहिए. The central bank may also encourage international trade by reducing exchange rate uncertainty. Furthermore, smoothing exchange rate or currency movements may reduce fears in financial markets and speculative activity that could cause a major decline in currency's values. So these are some factors by which government can smooth the exchange rate movements. So how countries can respond to temporary disturbances? Let's see an example. News that oil prices might rise could have or could cause expectations of a future decline in the values of Japanese yen. कि अगर आपकी oil prices increase होनी है तो उसका impact Japanese yen पे ये आ सकता है कि Japanese yen की value decline हो जाए. Why? Because Japan exchanges yen for US dollars to purchase oil from oil exporting countries. Foreign exchange market speculators may exchange yens for dollars in anticipation of its decline. So जो speculators हैं जो already we have defined that they make their benefits by using the small changes in the market and they are continuously focusing on those points where they can get some types of opportunities so that they can make some benefit, may exchange yens for dollars बिकॉज अगर वो येन से डॉलर में कन्वर्ट करेंगे ड्यू टू द फैक्ट दैट येन की वैल्यू डिक्लाइन होनी है, सो दे आर ट्राइंग टू बेसिकली hedge themselves, जिस तरह हमने पिछले लेक्चर में प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल की, न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व किया कि अगर करेंसी की वैल्यू डिक्लाइन होनी है तो आप उसको दूसरी करेंसी में कन्वर्ट करके इन्वेस्ट कर दें। सेम गोज हियर कि जब येन की वैल्यू डिक्लाइन होनी है तो जो स्पेक्यूलेटर्स हैं व्हाट दे विल डू इज दे विल कन्वर्ट देम इनटू डॉलर्स इन एंटिसिपेशन फॉर दिस डिक्लाइन, क्योंकि डिक्लाइन आना है तो उसको एंटिसिपेट करके वो उसको फर्दर इन्वेस्ट कर देंगे इन डॉलर्स। सेंट्रल बैंक्स मे देयरफॉर इंटरवीन to offset the immediate downward pressure on the yen caused by such market transactions. So ये जो temporary disturbance आई थी due to decline in oil prices और yen सेल होना ज्यादा शुरू हो गए because yen to dollar convert होना शुरू हो गए, speculators are also trying to make their profits by taking this news into account. So what is the role of central bank? That central bank will intervene to adjust this type of minor disturbance or temporary disturbances. So let's review today's concept which we have covered in our lecture. First of all, other than the different types of exchange rate regimes where we discussed fixed, floating, managed float and pegged exchange rate systems, now we came to the concept where we discussed the dollarization and we gave the example of Ecuador. Dollarization is something when it is quite resembling with your pegging system where one currency was pegged against dollar, but in case of dollarization you are completely going to replace your currency with dollars. So dollarization is something where you won't be able to have your own currency in your country, but you will be having only dollars as your single currency. So Ecuador was a country when we discussed that its currency's value declined by 97% against dollars. So जब किसी country की currency इतनी devalue हो जाए कि उसकी worth against dollar 97% decline कर जाए, in that case what was the option? The only option government of the Ecuador decided was that they are going to replace Ecuador's currency to dollars. And they implemented dollars as their own currency. And since we know because of the exchange rate movements and because of the devaluation of the currency, there are so many other economic factors which are attached for the health of the economy. So they were also affected due to the devaluation of Ecuador's own currency. So उसमें क्या था कि inflation बहुत increase हो रही थी, growth rates बहुत reduce हो रहे थे. So Ecuador, when they changed their currency to dollars, they found the difference within the same year in November that the inflation rate was declined and growth rates were enhanced, which was the objective of Ecuador country. In that case, dollarization basically had a greater positive impact for that economy, and since then they have adopted dollars as their currency. So it is not something that every country would go and ask that they want to go for dollarization because they want to get rid of inflation rate and they want to improve on their growth rate. That country was in crisis because their own currency was declined so much that they couldn't continue with the same currency because it was declined by 97% against dollar. So it was devalued to a certain extent where the worth of the currency was almost completely equal to zero. Then we discussed the single European currency, and we discussed being the efforts of the European Union, they had introduced a single currency which is single European currency and its name is euro. So why did they introduce it? Because they wanted to get some kind of benefits, some profits with the international business, and they wanted to have less or completely zero trade barriers, at least for European economies, or at least for those countries who are taking euro as their currency. What was the impact on the monetary and fiscal policy? So since we have discussed that the monetary policy is something where you are going to consider the money supply and interest rates in an economy. So your single European country currency, when it was adopted by 12 European economies, so monetary policy, it was decided that it will be maintained by the Central Bank of the Europe. क्योंकि अब आपके तमाम कंट्रीज, उन तमाम 12 कंट्रीज में सेम करेंसी यूरो एज अ करेंसी यूज हो रहा है. सो इन दैट केस उनका सेंट्रल बैंक एक ही बनाकर एक ही बैंक हो जो कि मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी डिफाइन कर सके. मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी क्या है कि कंट्री में मनी सप्लाई कितनी होनी चाहिए, इंटरेस्ट रेट्स क्या रखने हैं, मनी सप्लाई को कंट्रोल करना है या मनी सप्लाई को एक्सटेंड करना है. इन तमाम चीजों के फोकस के लिए सेंट्रल बैंक मेन रोल प्ले करता है. टू कंसिडर दिस इन टर्म्स ऑफ यूरोपियन रीजन, इट वाज डिसाइडेड दैट यूरोपियन सेंट्रल बैंक would design the strategies for monetary policy in European zone. Fiscal policy is something which is basically linked with the expenditures and with the income of the country. So when you discuss single European currency in that framework, so obviously fiscal policy cannot be similar in each and every country, and you cannot say कि जो आपके तमाम के तमाम यूरोपियन कंट्रीज हैं जिन्होंने यूरो को एज देयर बेसिक करेंसी अडॉप्ट किया है, they will be focusing on the same fiscal policy. Why? Because गवर्नमेंट के डिफरेंट फोकस होंगे, डिफरेंट पॉलिसीज होंगी फॉर देयर ओन कंट्री, एंड दे वुड बी स्पेंडिंग इन अ डिफरेंट मैनर. Similarly, when you think in terms of revenue collection, so obviously different government would collect in a different manner. So आपकी गवर्नमेंट स्पेंडिंग जो है दैट कैन बी डिफरेंट इन अ वे, बिकॉज एक कंट्री को फोकस करना है ज्यादा ऑन देयर एजुकेशन सेक्टर, व्हाइल द अदर कंट्री वांट टू फोकस मोर ऑन देयर हेल्थ सेक्टर. थर्ड कंट्री माइट बी फोकसिंग ऑन देयर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. In that case, what will happen? Obviously, it's quite difficult for all the countries that they should have the same fiscal policy. Either it is not possible because हर country का different scenario है depending on their economic conditions. It's not possible for all the countries that they should go for the same fiscal policy. So when you talk about the single European currency, so you have to focus के monetary policy तो same हो सकती है, क्योंकि मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी में आपने मनी सप्लाई कंट्रोल करनी है या मनी सप्लाई को देखना है और इंटरेस्ट रेट्स को फोकस करना है. सो दैट कैन बी सिमिलर बिकॉज सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ यूरोप इज सेम फॉर ऑल द यूरोपियन कंट्रीज. हाउएवर व्हेन यू आर कंसिडरिंग द फिस्कल पॉलिसी, सो हर कंट्री का अपना एक सिनेरियो है, हर कंट्री की अपनी एक रिक्वायरमेंट है, और उनके रेवेन्यूज जनरेशन और उनकी कंजम्पशन वुड बी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द अदर कंट्री. Single European currency had a greater impact over international trade since it was adopted to boost the international trade. It had a greater impact because it basically helped all the European countries to increase trade with each other. So single European currency was adopted for the enhancement of international trade. And it was done because these countries knew that if they are importing or they are exporting, now they don't have to worry about the exchange rate fluctuations. When we discussed international flows, so since we have discussed international trade deals with the merchandising or trade in goods and services, while international flows are something when you are talking about the financial transactions. In terms of single European currency, it is quite easy in both the criteria, whether you are focusing international trade or international flows. It's quite easy for all the European countries for comparing the prices. Either you are considering international trade, so it's quite easy to see the price of one product in different countries. Or if you are considering the bonds or the stocks, so it's quite easy also that you can compare the prices of stocks in different economies. So आपको अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमने डिस्कस किया कि अगर आपने कंपेयर करनी है प्राइसेस इन डिफरेंट कंट्रीज इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिफरेंट करेंसी, सो ऑब्वियसली आप क्या करेंगे कि आपने अगर 3 या 4 कंट्रीज में किसी प्रोडक्ट की प्राइस को चेक करना है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू वुड कन्वर्ट दोज प्राइसेस विच आर कोटेड इन लोकल करेंसी यूनिट्स टू डॉलर्स. आप उन तमाम लोकल करेंसी प्रोडक्ट्स जो मेंशन हुए में प्राइसेस उनको कन्वर्ट करेंगे डॉलर्स में, एंड देन यू विल कंपेयर द प्राइसेस के इन तमाम की प्राइसेस क्या हैं और किसकी प्राइस ज्यादा है किसकी कम है. हाउएवर इन केस ऑफ सिंगल यूरोपियन करेंसी इट्स क्वाइट इजी फॉर द इन्वेस्टर्स, फॉर दोज हु आर कंडक्टिंग द इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड, ऑल दोज पीपल हु आर इन्वॉल्व्ड इन इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड एंड इंटरनेशनल फ्लोज, दैट दे कैन कंपेयर द प्राइसेस whether it is in terms of goods, services, or in terms of international flows, in terms of securities or bonds, because by using the same currency it's quite convenient to compare the prices. Now, impact on exchange rate risk. So since we know that by having one single currency in all the participating countries, it's quite comfortable for them, it is quite easy and convenient for them that they can go for the trade, they can go for the transactions, they can do whatever type of transaction they want to do with the other country, because they know that they don't have to worry about the exchange rate fluctuations now, and there will be no volatility in their exchange rates. Plus, government interventions are also very much important, because we know it that when you are talking about the dollarization, you are talking about different types of exchange rate regimes, whether you are talking about international trade, international flows, exchange rate implementation, whatever criteria you are talking, you cannot deny the fact that government intervention is the most important fact which should be implemented or which should be in practice in each and in every country. Why? Because when you are talking about dollarization, so it was a policy or it was a suggestion by the government that because Ecuador was not performing well, since they were having a lot of inflation in their economy, the inflation rate were too high, so that was the government who intervened and decided by their policies that they have to replace dollars with their own currency. Now, when you move on towards the monetary policy, or when you move on towards the fiscal policy, the policies are designed by the government, and the implementation of monetary policy is done through the central bank. Similarly, when you are talking about the international trade, government intervention is very much important, because whatever trade you are doing, imports or exports, government intervention is necessary, since we have discussed it earlier कि अगर imports बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे, so government has to intervene because they want to avoid their current account deficits. अगर imports बहुत ज़्यादा होंगे, आपका current account deficit में जा रहा है, तो obviously आपका country negative finances show कर रहा है. In that case, the government have to make some strategy to avoid those crises, and then they try to implement some taxes or tariffs or quotas to avoid that type of situation. In case of international flows, by having the single European currency, it is also suggested that all those countries who are having the same interest rates, or those who are having the same currency, which is euro, will implement the same interest rate in all over the countries. So in that case, आपके जो interest rates होंगे वो तमाम countries में same होंगे जहाँ पे euro as a basic currency use हो रहा है. So this was quite important in effect कि आपका जब single currency adopt हुई, so it has not only boosted the international trade, because now investors are quite relaxed that they don't have to face exchange rate movements, they don't have to worry about international flows, because earlier they were worried कि अगर हम किसी और country में stock markets में invest करेंगे, so there is a possibility कि exchange rate movement होगी, due to which they had to think about the different types of financial engineering products, जिसमें हमने hedging या derivatives के concepts आते हैं कि अगर आपको अपने किसी भी future में आपने अपनी investment को loss से hedge करना है, so what will be the strategy? In that case, usually people go for, or investors go for, the different types of strategy which involve different types of derivatives, options, call option हमने पढ़ा, put option हमने पढ़ा. These options are exercised because investors want to hedge themselves in future exchange rate movements. Now, if the investor know that in future there will not be any type of exchange rate fluctuation in case of single currency, so obviously it's quite positive point for all those investors who want to invest in different types of securities or in different types of financial markets. So single European currency has helped a lot to the European region, because that has helped in boosting the trade in goods and services, the trade in financial services, the trade in financial assets, plus the international flows has been improved, and the exchange rate risk, which is quite important in terms of investors' point of view, has been avoided completely, which is a very much positive point for all the investment strategies. So till now we have discussed all these things in detail, that why European economies have taken benefit from all these single European Act, and how dollarization has helped different economies where their currencies had devalued, and we have also discussed that why countries go for different types of exchange rate regimes. In next lecture we will discuss different types of government strategies, that how they can influence the exchange rate regimes, and we will discuss it in detail.